It is the final game of the regular season here for the St. Louis Falcons. As I'm James O'Sullivan alongside Tyler Rosen, we've got Jim Austin up on our camera here this evening. The Oklahoma Hawks from Grove, Oklahoma are in town to play the Falcons. Hawks coming in 1-6 on the season. Falcons are 5-2 and in the number 3 spot in their postseason for their conference. That's a little tune-up for them to get ready for that big game against the Cyclones here in just a few weeks. Falcons have received the opening kickoff for sure.
You mentioned, James, a bit of a tune-up game as Oklahoma comes in 1-6, as both teams will close out the regular season. One of just 2 teams the Falcons are from the Gateway Conference closing out the year today. Everything else has just been about set, and they have locked in the number 3 seed. And well, as we move through the game, we'll kind of preview a little bit of what their quarterfinal might look like. But an opportunity here tonight to go into the playoffs continuing on the right foot and to get a little more confidence, you would think, against a struggling Oklahoma team as you go into the postseason.
Yeah, the Falcons did win the previous game, but they lost the 2 before that, and they started 4-0.
Yeah, and we were at the first home game of the year, and it was a team where you knew that you're going to have it the first week issues, if you will, with any team at any level early in the year. But despite that, it was still a heck of a performance from this team. I think forced 7 turnovers.
There was a lot of turnovers
5
on both
in the first
sides.
half, maybe.
Well, wasn't it? I mean, I'm going to completely blank on the name now until he probably does it a couple times tonight.
Smart.
One of the defensive backs had 4 interceptions in the first half.
Right, exactly. So I think you look back to that, you could see kind of if everything got put together and everything was a little crisp, what this team could be and what they've turned into as the year's gone on.
A little bit of a pooch kick going to be bobbled there at the 30, and the Hawks are going to fall on top of it at the 38.
Just unfortunate there. Goes in and out of the breadbasket. And good coverage down the field. Advantageous bounce. And just the start you're looking for if you're the Hawks here on the road, struggling throughout the year. Get some momentum going on their side early. And it looks like Oklahoma will start at the Falcons. It looks like 37-yard line there, James, 38-yard line. After recovering the muff kick by the up man for the Falcons.
Well, turnover to start the game, not how you want to do it, but it was more of really just didn't call the football, it seemed like.
Yeah.
A couple guys that kind of ran into each other, bobbled it, and heads-up play there by the Hawk player. These numbers not the easiest to see with yellow numbers on the white jersey, so we will do our best, but there's a nice tackle in the backfield and a big loss.
Look to see who's getting the claps there. There were about 3 Falcons who got back there, and this is what we saw in the first game of the year, James. About as soon as the ball was snapped, breaking through that offensive line and putting pressure on the quarterback.
Well, this is a defense that's only given up 59 points all season long.
Entering into the 8th game of the season now, an incredible stat there.
Cross will roll out to the left. Trying to turn his shoulders. He's going straight to the sideline. He's going to get pushed out of bounds. And will go as a loss there as well.
Jones going to get credited with the tackle there in pursuit. And Cody Crump also on that defensive line was given the initial chase that flushed across here knee side.
Now we did hear before the game that the Hawks have struggled this season. We kind of knew that based on what we have in our notes, but it's cross and help needed.
Yeah, it's a polite way to put it. And certainly some of the prowess of this young man has probably been from having to run around awfully quickly.
That throw might have slipped out of his hands a little bit as it falls incomplete. It'll be a 3 and out for the Hawks here on their first drive.
Yeah, and we'll see if they actually bring out the punting unit or with the field position and willing to turn it over on downs around the 50 if they don't just try and make an attempt for a first down here.
3rd and long.
Does look like
About
they'll punt.
Or 4th and 16 about.
Yeah, and it does look like they're going to punt it away. One back deep to receive for the Falcons.
Now, yeah, it is a quick punt. It bounced at the 11, picked up there. Johnson trying to get some space, go over towards the sideline. He's got some room, cuts it back in the middle. It's pulled by the jersey, stays on his feet and gets all the way back to midfield.
What a return there by Malcolm Johnson Jr. Slipped one and then nearly broke another tackle right around the 45 to keep on going, and it was a good hold there by the Hawks in the coverage that just stumbled Johnson up enough to slow him down, bring him down. But again, great field position here for the Falcons on their first offensive possession of the game, starting right at midfield. But a heck of a return there from Johnson Jr.
Well, this is when we were here in week 1. Their first 4 or 5 possessions were all offensive
at least
territory started.
Yeah, at least at their own 40 plus. To your point, it was at least first 6 or 7 possessions, I'd say.
I think the Vipers even had some pretty good starting field position there, but they just couldn't do anything with it when they had it. The throw downfield, wide open, man bobbles. No, he hangs on to it, and he will walk himself into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, it doesn't take long. A 50-yard strike gets behind the defense and just absolutely burns the defender, and you're going to see a couple of Hawks talking about it now at the defensive part of the field. But it doesn't take long. One play, 8 seconds off the clock. And it gives the Falcons the first points and lead of the game at 6-0.
A minute 58 in. Falcons go up 6-0, look to make it 7. Hold is down, kick is up and through. A 7-0 lead here for the Falcons early in this one.
Well, and again, as we mentioned, didn't take long. Defensively, got going with a good head of steam, put pressure on, got a good punt return. And again, as we mentioned, wasting no time. One play, a 50-yard touchdown strike. I want to thank the sponsors here, Browns Home, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tim Kilo State Farm Insurance, Select Auto Rentals, Golden Nest Productions, Old World Jewelry, St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey, and Trench Breakers LLC. We thank you for your continued support of St. Louis Falcons football this season, and the Falcons will be heading to the postseason. It will be on the road. We did find that out, and nothing that happens here tonight will change that as the two teams ahead of the Falcons. They did lose the head-to-head battle, again, just by a combined 7 points between those two games at the Panthers and the Crusaders. Check that Cyclones.
Yeah,
sorry.
Cyclones, and that's
crossing divisions there.
Well, 1 point loss they had against the Cyclones. I think they can tie the Cyclones in record, but because of the head-to-head, they lose the tiebreaker.
Good point.
So they could both be 6-2 heading into the postseason, but because of that 1 point loss, a 15-14 defeat. He kicks this one long, caught there at the 9. Taking his time, looking to see where he wants to go, cutting it, diving forward, going to get to about the 25.
this Falcons team wasted no time defensively on their first drive of the game, forced a 3 and out. And in just those 3 plays, not much going for Oklahoma in the pass game or the run game. And we're heading the wrong way.
Lost yards on the first down run, and then Cross ran to the side, couldn't get anywhere, and lost yards on that as well, and then incomplete pass. This one might be a loss of 1 as well.
Yeah, nice job there by Blocker to extend that edge out. Keep the contain. Comes up as part of a gang tackle there.
Looks like they will give him the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10. Cross in the backfield. Will fake the handoff, throw it over the middle, caught, tackled right away. Be a nice 7-yard gain on 2nd down.
Well, that's what Oklahoma needs. They just needed to get some positive momentum going forward at the offensive end, and by doing that there on 2nd and 10, a 7-yard gain makes it 3rd and very manageable, and if you can avoid losing yardage, you might give yourself an opportunity on 4th.
3rd and 3. Cross avoids 1, cannot avoid the 2nd. Goes down at the 30. A loss of 2 on it brings up a 4th and 5.
Well, any of the 3 defensive linemen got in there right away, but Cody Crump will get the sack there, a loss of 2 as he continued his rush up the pocket there and contained Cross just enough to trip him up. Brings up 4th and 5 now for Oklahoma.
So Cross will go back to punt. But it was a quick one-step kick the last time. And it will be that again. Gets a good one off. Bounces at the 33. Kind of bounced straight up. It will be fielded at the 29. Coming here to this near side. Trying to get the speed. A blocker in front. Gets the edge. Cuts it back inside. He's got one man to beat. He beats him. And walking into the end zone will be the Falcons for a touchdown.
Believe that might be Darian Pope, who was back there, and can't say the return man because there was no return man, but he was the first one back there, saw no one from the coverage team around him, picks it up off of a hop, and takes it all the way to the house for a score. Quickly, 13-0 here. Extra points to come.
I'm calling that a 71-yard punt return.
I'll trust you. Well, I don't think the defense will have any problem going right back out there. They've only been out there for 6 plays thus far tonight. Considering the weather we had earlier in the week, it's a lot cooler tonight.
As that is up and good. 14-0. I don't know about you, but where I live, it stormed around 3:15 yesterday afternoon, and that really cooled it off.
Yep.
Went out to go to dinner. Was like, man, it feels good out here now.
You can actually breathe. You're not sweating walking to the car. No, it is. The weather is broken nicely for us here this evening, and the Falcons already kind of starting the party a little bit, up 14-0, and haven't been challenged too terribly much here in the first 4 minutes of play. 10:55 left in the first quarter. And the only cross-conference game for the Falcons.
All season long. That was kind of weird because it seemed like everyone else had 2.
Right, yeah.
But this is the only one the Falcons have, and it's the last one of the season.
And you never know, obviously, at the beginning of the year when you get a crossover game or 2, how it's going to fall in the standings in the other conference. And if you're the Falcons, you just got to be thinking, well, it couldn't have worked out any better. Not only is it just the one crossover, but it comes at the end of the year, and it's against a team sitting towards the bottom of the standings across the way. So certainly shapes out nicely as you look ahead towards the playoffs for the Falcons.
kickoff here. It will be caught on the line around the 9. Again, taking his time, trying to get to the edge, waiting. Going to go straight to the sideline and out of bounds at around the 23.
Well, and Cross, the return man again. Also the quarterback, a wise decision, I think, just to step out there. Don't need to take any unnecessary shots. 10:46 to play in this first quarter. Well, James, I remember from the first game of the year, we had a bit of a talking point on roster size, at least comparatively, between the Vipers and the Falcons. And
it's the same tonight.
I think it's a little worse tonight when it comes to discrepancy, that is, on just roster size. And it's hard to play when you only got about 15 and to cycle in and out.
There's 3 standing on the sideline right now.
Okay, there you go.
Cross over the middle, that's caught towards the sideline, I should say, and going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, for Oklahoma, the last drive, it was a 2nd and 10, where they gained 7 and made it 3rd and manageable. It's just been following suit with that, with the positive momentum hasn't been there.
They actually lost a yard on that, so it'll be 2nd and 11. Well, then after they had that 3rd and manageable, it goes back to then a 4th and 5 after you lost a couple yards on that 3rd down.
And that was
And
Cross.
this one snapped with Cross not ready, going to go all the way back. He's in the end zone, throwing it to the side, and it will be incomplete. Cross just puts his hands up towards the sky.
And a good play by Cross just to be able to pick it up, have the wherewithal to keep his eyes downfield and just try and throw it past the line of scrimmage and avoid a big loss, a safety, or even worse, potentially on that play, and at least keeps his team in it for 3rd and 11. But again, James, looking a lot like that first game that we covered of the season, especially with that defensive front.
3rd and 11 here for the Hawks. Their 9th play, still looking for their initial first down. And not going to get it here as Cross goes down in the backfield with the sack. And he kind of rolled over a defender there. Looks to be okay.
McDaniel and Crump in the mix there. Probably split a sack between those two. And another loss on the play and presumably another punt. Looks like Malcolm Johnson back deep to field this one, just inside the 50.
He fielded the first one inside the 10, brought it back to the 50. This is a low snap. Cross barely gets it off. Might have been partially deflected. And it's going to bounce and actually get picked up at the 43, taking it down the sideline. Now going to try to cut it this way. He's got blocking all over this way. It could be a second straight punt return, and it will be. Touchdown, Falcons.
You called it, James, 2 straight. I believe that one may have been Beach. Try and get the number just to be sure.
That's what it looked like to me as well.
It was Beach who, again, may or may not have taken a deflection off the punt. It was a short one, and he thought about it, said, all right, I'll take it if no one wants to pick it up, and avoids a couple of tacklers, reverses fields, walks right into the end zone, makes it 20-0 here, 9:09 to play in the first quarter. Extra point to come. Well, now maybe the defense will be thinking, well, you can give us a little bit of a break.
There's actually nothing else. The offense saying, can we get back on the field?
Yeah,
We've
maybe.
run
Yeah,
one
maybe.
play.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a 50-yard touchdown.
Well, and
on that one play.
I don't want to cross the beams too much here, I guess, but it was almost as if, like in soccer, when you see a high line played defensively, and all of a sudden it's just a well-timed play, and it looks like you just beat the coverage and totally and just got forgotten about. That's what it was on that touchdown play. For the Falcons, again, wasting no time. The extra point was good there. 21-0 here in the first quarter. goes again. Falcons will kick it right back to the Hawks. And I think to your point, James, I think offense is thinking, well, we'd still like to get a little bit of work in here, you know, whenever you'll oblige defense. But defense is thinking, hey, man, this is fun. This is really fun to be able to run around like this. And at times it does almost feel like they're coming in untouched into the backfield there and really making life difficult for Cross. And just really giving him no time to make a decision or to avoid any pressure. Yeah, 1 offensive touchdown, 2 returns. And now at some point, the defense will just be looking for their touchdown.
Long kickoff here. Fielded at the 9 again. Cross going to come and go out of bounds at the 20. Third straight possession the Hawks will actually have without the defense, or the Falcon offense, I should say, hitting the field, because I think the Hawks pretty much have the same offense and defense.
Yeah. Well, it would seem that way. As we mentioned, not a huge bench across the way for Oklahoma. And well, it'll be interesting. Again, it's only been about 6 minutes of game time here in this first quarter. It's already 21-0. It'll be interesting to see how that sort of fatigue comes into play in the second half, especially with how, again, this first 6 minutes have gone thus far.
You can just tell the Hawks are slow getting up to the line, and
it is a hard thing to do to play with well short of 20. That's for sure.
Hand this one off and going down right away.
That was a running back, number 8. Didn't have him quick look at the roster, but another loss on the play.
The green there would have been that guy that received that handoff.
And just the Hawks going the wrong way. It's been the theme offensively tonight.
That was a loss of 7. Cross fakes the handoff, throws it, and I think it's incomplete. I think he just kind of threw it off his own lineman, or threw it into the chest of a defensive lineman just to avoid a sack. Because it really was not a throw to be completed at all.
No, and you could see the white hat and another referee getting together and just confirming that that was in fact the case. Good call there, and it was interesting. You didn't see the ball come away initially, and you're thinking, well, maybe did Cross tuck it and then lose it? But good call there by the officials in another 3rd and long situation.
Although if he threw it at an offensive lineman, that would be illegal tucking, and you could throw a flag on that. It's Cross going to get to the sideline, get about to the 22.
Maybe gets back to the original line. They're going to give him a +1 on that.
Maybe a +2.
Yep. So 4th and 8. And going to be another punting situation. They will punt it away, it looks like. And again, no one back deep to receive for the Falcons.
Cross has had good punts.
Mm-hmm.
The last one
I think
was not his
tipped.
best.
I think it may have been tipped.
This one, not his best either, as it goes out almost at the 45 of the Hawks. That was it was directed at the sideline to avoid a return.
8:03 left here in the first quarter. You mentioned it, James, maybe the frustration, fatigue for the Hawks. Looking at Cross, he's playing both ways too, like many on this Oklahoma squad, and just kind of sitting down in that squat position before getting into his cornerback position. You can just tell it's a lot to play Ironman football when you're asking probably upwards of 8, 9 guys, if not everybody, to at least in some part play both ways.
Yeah, when you say both ways, it's actually 3 ways.
3 ways. There you go. Yeah.
Jones, quick screen pass. Complete, a lot of room in front, and that's not going to take long either. 2 offensive plays, 2 touchdowns for the Falcons offense. A 46-yard.
Malcolm Johnson Jr. gets the touchdown here. He had a nice punt return earlier in the game. And he takes this screen pass on the far side and is off to the races down the sideline. All untouched into the end zone. Makes it 27-0, 7:53 to play in the opening frame. Extra point to come. All Falcons. Well on their way to a rematch with the Cyclones in a couple of weeks.
Well on the way, that was already decided.
Right.
It wasn't like a win here was going to guarantee that.
No, you still got to take care of business, though, and I think especially being a team that's sewn up their spot, nothing can change. Playing a team that's at the other end of the standings in another conference can sometimes have the makings to get away from you, maybe turn into a bit of a trap, but Falcons have done what they needed to do.
Oh, a fake coming here, slipping. His arm almost went down. Johnson now going to cut it back, and he's in for 2.
Saw Johnson
29-0.
Sorry there, James. Saw Johnson coming back behind the kicker and thought, well, maybe did he catch himself in motion and just kept going to avoid a flag? No, that was a designed play. Keeps his feet as he tries to reverse field and does. And ends up prancing into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. 29-0 here. 7:53 still on the clock.
That was close. His wrist almost went down.
I was with you. I was thinking the same thing there, James, but a good athletic play to stay on his feet, keep moving. And we'll put the defense back out onto the field.
This is a Falcon team that came in their 6th or in their 7 games, scoring 223 points. You add 8 minutes into game number 8, and they already got 29 on the board.
Well, it's been impressive, and when they win, they oftentimes win big. Every win has been by at least 2 possessions on the year. Most of them by 30-plus.
Even a couple 40-plus games in there. Little squib kick. It's going to be recovered. Was it, or was he out when he actually got control of it?
No, I think they're just going to bring it back because it wasn't touched by Oklahoma. So when possession was made by the Falcons, it's dead there. And that's where they'll take over, as it went the necessary 10 yards.
So it's recovering an onside kick then.
The Falcons just trying to do it any way they can. Got the freedom to do so, up 29-0 in the early going of this first half. 7:48 to play.
It's going to start on the 36.
So they will move it. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Once possession was controlled by the Falcons, whistled dead. As the onside kick was never touched by Oklahoma.
No, it was. They are going to give the Falcons the ball.
Well, but it went the 10 yards, which is what calls it dead at the possession. If it would have been touched, that could have been returned all the way for a touchdown. So either way, it was going to be with the Falcons. Just a matter of blowing it dead.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, good job by the officials there getting that one right.
The run play here gets it to about the 30.
Savion Jackson with the carry there. Good gain of about 6. And, well, this offense is human.
Just the third play run offensively. And I think that 2-point conversion play and that squib onside kick, whatever you really want to call it, was more practicing to see, do we need to use it in the playoffs?
There you go, yeah.
And here's another run, going to go down the sideline and go out inside the 15. Yeah, you can practice it in practice, but working it into a game against a team that's actually trying to recover the ball, basically.
Oh, you can never simulate a game no matter what the situation is in a specific game. You're just never going to replicate that sort of intensity. So you're absolutely right, and you never know what you're going to need to pull out of the bag of tricks once you get to the postseason.
I think we're going to stop the clock here, let Walter get walked across the field. And official says, nope, let's run the clock anyway. Now Falcons players giving it to the general manager to get off the field.
You got to do a little bit of everything, don't you?
You're just probably saying, play on, you're going to go that way anyway.
All right.
Just don't throw an interception, you'll go that way.
Yeah, just go forward.
Yeah, this is another run play, getting thrown to the ground. Gets a couple yards on that one. Is Singleton. Jones going to keep it. Going to the left. Can he get the angle? He will, and he'll get into the touchdown.
Well, it was just the speed of Jones there. And the foot race to the corner. You had blockers. Once he got that edge, there was nothing doing for Oklahoma to try and stop him. Another quick strike score. Another short drive.
What was that, 3 plays?
Yeah, so I guess you could call it a long drive comparatively.
Oh, I mean, everything else was 1 play, so it's an extremely long drive. We've yet to see a drive actually go 4 plays in this game.
Yep.
It's
You
been
are
3 and
correct.
out for the Hawks every time.
Couple of punt returns for touchdowns. 35 spot here in the first quarter, and still plenty of time left to go. 5:47. Presumably just the extra point here.
And that will be good. 36-0 here for the Falcons in the first quarter still. Beak ready to kick this one off again. James O'Sullivan, Jim Alston, Tyler Rosen. Sorry, I forgot about you there for a second. Jim Alston's up on our camera.
Yeah, appreciate Jim's help. He kind of lucked out probably more than us with the weather, that's for sure. Sure, he was dreading Saturday if you would have asked him on Monday with the heat.
Could have asked him on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning.
Yeah, that's fair. It's been a steamy one.
Kick's going to bounce at the 20. They kicked it away from Cross this time. Breaks a couple tackles, trying to get to the edge, and a big hit laid on there by Singleton. Was it Singleton that laid his body around in that first game we saw?
I think so. I think it was. That's a good call. And I think Singleton may have had a few of those picks we were talking about at the start of the broadcast.
He might have had those 4 or 5.
And he just comes in here on the coverage and just stops everything right in its tracks. Good return by Oklahoma. Thought maybe if you break one, could be off to the races for an even bigger return. Singleton said, not so much.
Maybe I should have looked at the notes as I ripped them out of this binder to actually know about some of this stuff.
Yeah, you should have. Unbelievable. 5:36 left to play in the first quarter. 36-0 in favor of the Falcons.
Cross an empty backfield. Will tuck it and run. He will slide down for a gain of about 5.
Maybe that's the best use of the offense Oklahoma can have right now, is to try and use the momentum coming forward of that Falcons defensive line and kind of turn into a few designed quarterback runs or delayed handoffs.
Looks like they might have only given him 4. So a 2nd and 6. Again, empty backfield. Cross, quick throw, and it's a complete 3rd and long medium coming up here.
I don't know if that was deflected on its way through the line, but had a couple of options.
Almost just seemed like he threw it before his receivers were looking for it.
Yeah, that too. Went 5 wide there. As you mentioned, facing 3rd and medium, about 3rd and 7, give or take. Well, Oklahoma's been here before tonight. Hasn't been very fruitful for him.
Third down coming up.
He will run this one as well. Get taken down at around the 40. It will bring up a 4th and 2. Do you attempt going for it?
Say so.
Most yards you've gained on a possession today.
It's 4th and 1, and I mean at this point, trailing 36-0, it's being stopped is as good as punting it away.
Cross, quick throw, complete. Bounces off of one and then takes a hit. It will be the first down of the game for the Hawks, as they gained about 6 there.
Well, pressure came on this near side from the Falcons, flushed cross, and they rolled him actually far side anyway, and just dumped it off to a short receiver. Able to get the first down and a couple more, move the chains, get a fresh set.
This entire possession, they've gone just 5 wide. Cross looking, will tuck it. Go down around the 49. Took a shot near the head. No flight coming out. And they've reached midfield.
Only other time they were around this point or past it was off the opening kickoff and recovering the muffed kick.
Cross again looking. Going out to the right, avoids one man. And throws it complete. First down.
Oh, and Cross couldn't avoid it any longer as he had one bearing down on him. It looked to be McDaniel giving chase and was maybe about half a second too late. Cross gets the throw off, has a man at the far sideline, about a yard past the sticks, Makes the catch, extends the drive again. Move under 3 to play here in the first quarter.
A long first quarter it's been. Cross hands this one off and not going to have anywhere to go. Loses a yard or two.
And I know if you're the Hawks, you still got to find a balance between run and pass, but run game has been the one thing that has not been there at any point thus far offensively. And you've had success at least getting cross moving around, if not dumping it off. A little surprised to go with a straight run there.
Second and 12. Under 2 minutes here in the opening quarter. Cross looking. Getting away. Chucks it downfield. It is incomplete. Caught, but never got his feet in bounds was the Falcon corner.
Yeah, it was a heck of an attempt there at the sideline, and a nice job to make the catch, just as you mentioned, unable to get the feet down in play. But if anything, forces another third and long. 1:39 left to play, first quarter.
Empty backfield here for Cross. Throws it downfield. It is incomplete there. And it'll bring up fourth down.
We'll see what they want to do. Last time obviously went for it on fourth and about 1.5. Able to pick up the first down and extend the drive. Looks like Cross will be lining up to punt this one away, however. Malcolm Johnson Jr. back deep to receive.
Kicks this one away. Bounces it around the 12. Falcon man kicks it. Now he'll pick it up. Goes around a couple. He's going to cut it back inside. And Johnson looking. Gets around Cross, and he's going to take this one all the way again. About a 90-yard punt return for a touchdown. The third punt return for a touchdown here in this game. Johnson with his second touchdown of the game.
Has a punt return touchdown to go along with the receiving touchdown, and has probably about 150 yards in the return game alone tonight.
Yeah, that's a because he had that first punt return where he brought to about the 50, and that was from about the 10. So you give him 40 there and give him about 90. You might be right on target there.
He's getting close, and it is still just the first quarter. 1:09 left to play in it. 42-0, and we heard the goal was 50 by halftime. I think that is certainly in play, and that would be an understatement.
They might get that at the end of the first quarter.
They could. Still waiting on that defensive touchdown.
Well, the turnovers have not been a factor in this game like we saw in week one, where it was about 5 possessions in a row it was a turnover.
Yeah, it felt like any ball that was thrown up in the air was going to the other team.
The only turnover in this game is the opening kickoff, which was fumbled by the Falcons. And this one snap bobbled there. He's going to try to run it. He's just going to outrun his man to the pylon that's not there. And in there for 2, 44-0. here with 1:09 left in the opening quarter. Looking down, though, there's actually a flag on the play. All players are just standing around. First time we've actually seen the yellow laundry on the field tonight.
Yeah, been a relatively clean game penalty-wise, to your point.
They might be picking it up, though.
That appears to be the case.
And we'd like to thank our sponsors.
Nice.
The Bronze Home, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tim Kilo, State Farm Insurance, Select Auto Rentals, Gold Nest Productions, Old World Jewelry, St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey, and Trench Breakers LLC. You can actually watch St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey right here on Prepcast as well.
Yes, you can. Always good when we can link up and call those games. We got someone who travels with them.
Yeah, we travel with them, so.
But speaking, I guess, specifically for you and I, always fun when we can cover Blues Warriors hockey for Prepcast. I'm glad to be back out here covering the Falcons after being here opening night. We bookend the years, or the season, that is. And it looks like it'll be 2 victories, so maybe we are the lucky charms.
Yes, tell them that.
I wouldn't give us that much credit.
Neither would I. I wouldn't give us any credit. Apparently the flag was actually called on the play. I never saw the official signal anything.
I would assume based on placement unsportsmanlike. Move it back from the 35 to the 20, and should be the second best starting field position for the Hawks tonight. After this one's kicked away.
We'll see if they keep this away from Cross. Or do you kick it to him and make him actually return it and tire him out more than he is?
At this point, I don't know that it matters. So many have been playing both ways. You throw in special teams. I think at this point, your fuel level is pretty far down there right now.
It will not go to Cross. It will be caught at the 30. Gets to the 40, stops, tries to make a move. Gets to about the 43.
Starting at their own 40. That will be second best starting field position. And the Falcons might want to go back to kicking it to Cross because he was content with getting about 5 yards and going out of bounds.
Cross fakes the handoff, trying to get to the side. Completely goes to the side, now turns, runs out of bounds around the 40. We'll see where they place this. Wow, they're going to give him the 44?
So again, no surprise to us, Cross has been the best bit of offense for the Hawks. It's just been little to no help for him. Not only tonight, but it's been tough sledding.
So it'll be about a 2nd and 6 here for the Hawks.
And I think Cross was checking to see if they needed to run a play for the end of the quarter.
And I don't think they will.
No.
So we've reached the end of the opening quarter. 44-0 in favor of the Falcons. And we'll take a break, and we'll be back for second quarter action here on Prepcast.com. 2nd and 6 to start the second quarter. And that's over the middle, caught. Will be a 3rd and short.
Good quick hitter there for Oklahoma coming out of the quarter break.
Wow. I feel like he had a couple extra yards
Oh,
on
yeah.
forward progress.
I'm with you. I didn't even realize, look down for a second, that they had respotted that. No, I'm with you.
And by forward progress, I mean where he caught the ball.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
He
good
was hit
point.
backwards
Yeah.
right away, but he caught it around the 49.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good call.
Cross going to dive towards the 50. He needs to get to the 50,
Oh.
and they will give him first down.
Just barely got that nose of the football across the line to gain. It was awfully close. Good awareness, though, of where he was on the field. Extends the arm, extends the drive. A couple of quick hitters here from the Hawks out of the break at the end of the first quarter. It'll be up to the Falcons defensively to stand back up.
Falcon cornerback is playing receiver right now, having his back towards the receiver. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Quick screen. It's a nice one-handed catch as he brings it in, but even better tackle there on the far side. Johnson maybe on that far side?
I think that was Jenkins who made a nice spin around of a block there at the edge. Not only avoided the block, kept the contain and extended the edge out, and then made a nice tackle to limit whatever gain there, just a gain of 2. Nice play out there on an island at the edge there by Jenkins.
8-0 from way across the field. It's the same number.
So I grabbed the binoculars. But a great play there by Jenkins, not only to spin out of the block, but make a nice play. Well, Hawks are definitely taking the play clock as far down as possible, being kept on the field tonight. Yeah, you can see Cross looking back, and then you'll see our back judge start to do his counts as well. As
The
a white
official
hat.
doing the counts tonight, apparently.
Yeah, they were switched at quarter.
Cross way back there. Will throw it. Tipped in the air, and it falls incomplete. Cross ran about 10 yards backwards. Was trying to find a man.
Again, he just gets no time. That's credit to the 4 up front for the Falcons defensively. But yeah, for Cross, he's got to be thinking about what he needs to do. Sometimes it feels before he even says hike.
Third and long. Quick throw over the middle. Nice catch on the back shoulder throw. Oh, he breaks another tackle. He's going to get to the 40. Great effort there.
It was a heck of an effort, and I thought initially knocking off 2 defenders and retreating back towards the line of scrimmage was going to hurt the play there, but still able to fight through a couple more and dive back to that first down marker. Again, extending the drive. A couple of tough plays for Oklahoma here on the drive to keep it moving.
Yeah, he was close to the first down, then
Yeah.
kind of got bounced backwards because of a hit there on his feet. Then he actually had to fight for the first down.
Thought maybe that initial 3-yard push or so back towards the line of scrimmage was going to seal the fate on that play, but good hard work there.
Cross looking again, backing all the way up, throws it right into the hands of a Falcon. The first interception, and this might be your defensive touchdown you've been asking for, as all the way, as he now backs his way into the end zone for a touchdown.
They've done it every way now. And after making a nice play a little earlier in the drive, avoiding a block at the edge, Jenkins able to come up with an interception, a long run, and the celebration for about 15 of those yards. High step, backpedaled in.
Then had to quickly backpedal in.
Yeah. Either way, it's a pick six. Tack on a few more for the Falcons. 50-0, 11-12 left to play here in the first half. PAT to come. Well, and we hit the GM or the CEO's mark of 50 before the half. And they've done it every way.
They certainly have.
Except the kickoff.
Yeah, but special teams is special teams.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And unfortunately there for Cross, because he's been really smart tonight, especially with a lot of the pressure he's faced. I think just ran out of certainly time and then had two big defensive linemen staring him right in the face and thought, well, I just got to get rid of it, and threw it to where teammates weren't.
There was one guy there, about 3 Falcons.
Yeah.
And his one guy was not really looking at the ball at that time.
Good recovery there.
Yeah, Beak saw the snap kind of roll back to the holder, so he thought, okay, we're just going to do a fake and throw it over the shoulder or something. And then the holder able to still put it down very nicely. So he's like, okay, I'm still going to kick it. Gets it up and through. Flag does come down after the fact.
I'd be surprised if extracurriculars didn't make their way into this affair.
Oh, the official threw his flag as soon as that ball went through the uprights.
Try and catch the signal this time.
If he makes one.
Even better point. Indicator, good indicator will be where they set the ball for the kickoff. So it does look like maybe an unsportsmanlike on Oklahoma. So we'll move this up to the 50 to kick it away.
Maybe our white hat's not used to being white hat to signal
Could
these
be.
calls, because he doesn't have any R on his back.
Yeah.
He has an L. Apparently he's normally a line judge.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and they're thinking, well, hey, those jamborees don't happen until August, right? You know, we got some time before we got to be back in the swing of things. Let's see if this one doesn't end up for a touchback.
That had to be fun for all the high school football teams across the country. Midwest, East Coast these past week. Summer workouts and that. You know what that's like.
I do. Unfortunately, I do.
Caught inside the 5. Getting to the sideline. No blocking there. He just runs out of bounds, maybe inside the 20.
Yeah, this week, this past week, that is, would have been a week where you may have been hoping you would have been outside doing some work, because sometimes those gym workouts were never any better. So, but again, it's turned into a nice evening, a little warm, but nothing crazy, especially for what we've been dealing with this week. And, well, not much hotter out there than the Falcons right now. 51-0, 11:03 to play here in the first half. And the Oklahoma team that is short on bodies. Certainly some good fortune here tonight as well.
This is the Falcons Breast Cancer Awareness Night. Tyler and I both saw that memo on Facebook and joining in.
Just had to make sure the pink shirt fit. Does nicely, might I say.
What, first time you've worn it?
First time in a while, probably since October. It's typically when you start to see the pink pop up. Let's just say it's probably a good thing we're not on camera.
See, some players got either some pink gloves or pink undershirts, some pink towels. Another pass over the middle, caught.
Hampton on the attack.
Can you catch that number?
On the reception.
Yeah.
27.
I thought I saw 7, but I could not tell what that first one was.
Sure, someone will tell us if we're wrong.
Vic there on that one, because he had also the one in midfield where he bounced off a couple guys. So I wanted to make sure I got his name in there because he's a couple receptions and bouncing off some guys.
Good design quarterback run there. And Cross is an impressive player at that quarterback position. Again, you'd think would really benefit from a few extra seconds from the offensive line, certainly, and by maybe a little bit of help on the edges.
Hand this one off. Not going to have anywhere to go. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
Second and long coming up.
Yeah, they're going to give him back the line and nothing more.
House on attack.
Going to try to run with this one again as Cross slips down. Gets a good gain there on second down. About a 3rd and 3 or so coming up.
Well, again, he's been the best offense, and it's been even better when it's been a designed quarterback run and they've used the Falcons' front four momentum against them, shooting up the field and kind of opening up from the middle, allowing Cross to run forward and get a good gain there, as you mentioned.
Coming off the edge, untouched, but Cross, nice job to avoid that one, avoids the second one, and gets out of bounds. Takes a hit by a man on the sideline, or Cross actually ran into the guy on the sideline. No hit was actually given.
Gets enough for the first down, and you mentioned it, James absorbs in a bit of an unnecessary shot. Again, wasn't hit, just kind of ran into one of the Falcons, a stout one at that, standing right at the sideline.
Make sure we tell people he was not hit.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't like the Falcons got a cheap shot in on him.
Not at all.
Cross might have had it feel like that.
Yeah.
But
well, and there was, I think, a sideline warning issued a bit earlier for the Falcons, just being up on that white, maybe a little too close, but.
Great stop there in the backfield by Blocker.
Cowan in the mix as well. It's like he came up from the pile.
$7:50 left here in the opening half. Throws it downfield. What a play by Beach. Playing center field out there as that safety comes over, knocks it away, takes the touchdown away as well.
Oh, a heck of a play there. You mentioned it saves a touchdown, and well, that's why they're called safeties, right? You come back and you just do all you can to get some fingertips on it, knock it away. Was clearly going to be the biggest and best play offensively for Oklahoma. Nice play back in coverage, coming over and swatting that one away.
Third and long. Be a 3rd and 10 to be exact. Cross quickly out to the left, throws it. Receiver had to come back far, it goes down right away.
Should be about 4th and looks like they're gonna say 3. A little unkind there on the spot. Looked a little closer to 2. Either way, 4th and short. And last 4th down, I believe, that the Oklahoma Hawks were able to convert. It was 4th and short, a little shorter than this. It'll be up to the Falcons' defense to try and get off the field yet again.
Now we'll see if Cross kicks this one off or not. Never really been able to tell because he just goes in his normal quarterback positioning.
Only a few yards further back. Won't matter here.
No, they're going to say uninvited to the quarterback, so they're going to blow this one dead. We don't need an official signal on this one.
No.
But we're going to get one.
And a good snap count there from Cross. Takes advantage of an antsy front 4. Move the chains, get a fresh set, keep this drive rolling.
Cross having to quickly throw this one away, and running back coming out of the backfield was not looking for the ball quite yet. Falls incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it looked almost like a timing screen out there on the far side, and you're right. Maybe just got rushed a bit, and the receiver is not able to get back and look in time. 2nd and 10 now upcoming. Just over 6 minutes left to play in the half.
Cross again, quickly throwing this one, throws it up. Jenkins makes the one-handed pick. And he's going to try to return this one all the way. Spins back inside, and he will go down at around the 48.
Jenkins' 2nd of the day. Returned the last one, wanted to make it 2 for himself. Instead, he'll have to settle with a one-handed pick that almost came back to bite him as he bobbled it a bit. But makes a nice play back deep in coverage and able to get a nice return out of it. Set up shop nicely around midfield for the Falcons. Already lead at 51-0, 6:02 to play.
Jones will throw it downfield. An adjustment made by the Falcon receiver, but went through his hands.
Yeah, and kind of cut off the defender and almost had a little hop up that may have thrown him off a bit, trying to bring that in. You mentioned it, a good adjustment, just unable to haul it in. Looks like maybe that was Coleman. check that. That was Lane, the intended target.
Handoff here, gonna get through. Oh, got through the line, but a nice play by the linebacker holding on for a while. Stevian Jackson, the running back there, got a few. Five and a half and counting left in the half. Jankyard. Jones, yes. I knew it was Jay. I just couldn't think of it and couldn't find it on the roster quick enough.
Well, it was kind of funny in the sense that Jones had kind of been pretty lackadaisical there in the pocket, feeling no pressure. And all of a sudden, he saw a white jersey come screaming right up the middle at him and just kind of looked like he was caught off guard that someone had made their way through. But a big play defensively brings up 4th and 1. And the Hawks should get the ball back here, no problem.
They're going to go for it here on this 4th and long. Just throw it downfield. He's got a man. It's complete, and it's a touchdown.
Oh, I speak too soon. Why not? Got a man downfield. Hits him about in stride. That's Johnson.
About a 61-yarder or so.
61-yard touchdown for Mr. Jones.
And thanks at 57-0.
With the extra point still pending.
And looks like they'll go for 2.
And it's intercepted there. Nice play by the cornerback.
One-handed that, just took it away from the intended target. Looks like maybe Span was the intended target. And it was. 3:39 to play here in the first half. All Falcons. So we approach the halftime period. Remind you of our sponsors and thank our sponsors, the Browns Home, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tim Kilo State Farm Insurance, Select Auto Rentals, Gold Nest Productions, Old World Jewelry, St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey, and Trench Breakers LLC. Thank you for your continued support of St. Louis Falcons football throughout this season. And we've been happy to bring at least a couple of the games to you here on PrepCast, bookending the year. Seemingly bookending the year with a couple of wins.
Lopsided wins at that.
Yeah.
Although we've already said Falcons wins this year have been very lopsided.
It's been the theme, that's for sure. And it will be interesting looking ahead to next week, just getting an opportunity to take on a team you lost to by just 2 weeks. Sorry, forget the throw in the extra week there. But in 2 weeks, you just get to go right back at a team that you know you can beat, at least you can compete with. You lost by just the 1 point. So I think this team did a nice job focusing up here in the first half to make sure they got this job done and now can prepare for 2 weeks for a playoff game. And you just hope that the weather in mid-July holds,
Yeah,
to put it mildly.
July 12th.
Yeah, well, and then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the championship game is August 12th or around then. Did
Looks
I
like
write
you
that
wrote
down?
down
August
August
2nd.
2nd.
Sorry, I was
Yeah,
sacking
you
in
play a
extra
month
numbers.
worth of 3 football games, basically, so there's another bye week in there.
Yeah.
As
Well,
Cross goes out of bounds at the 16.
and if you do make it to that championship game, that could be an awfully toasty affair. Let's put it that way. No matter where you're playing within this league. 3:37 left to go here in the first half.
Yeah, so there's another bye week before that championship game. The 12th, the 19th, and then August 2nd.
And as we know, Falcons will be on the road that first round of the playoffs, and presumably if the Panthers were to hold serve, if you will, would travel again if they make it to the semifinals.
Quick throw in and out of the hands of the intended receiver.
Jones on the cover.
Well, if the Falcons are able to get a quick 3 and out, they could very easily put up a 60 spot here in this first half. Coming off of a 60-0 win, if I'm not mistaken. Said questioningly. Inquisitively, maybe is a better word.
I don't think I wrote that down, so don't ask me.
Leaving,
And
me
you're the
out,
only
leaving
one.
me out to dry. Sounds about right.
Cross looking to the air, and will get taken out of bounds. A little bit of a hard shove out of bounds. I think Cross is asking for something extra, but not going to get it.
Well, and you can expect a little extra shove out of bounds when you pump fake when you're already 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. I mean, you're kind of going at your own risk there.
Third down coming up, Oklahoma.
Third and about 9 here for the Hawks. Rolling out, throwing it off the body, caught it. Helmet comes flying off, a big hit laid. But again, a nice reception.
Singleton delivered the blow.
Is that Vic again?
I think it may
27
have
or?
been, yeah.
He's had a good first half.
He has, and he's taken a couple of shots. He's been able to hold on to the football, keep his feet. There have been positives offensively, really, since about the 9-minute mark of the first quarter for this Oklahoma offense. It's just been, overshadowed by the blitzkrieg put on by the Falcons.
That one will be incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
Get our 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning.
As both teams will get some water.
Second and long here. 2 minutes left in the opening half. That one will be incomplete.
It's going to be incomplete.
Again, Cross getting no time. As soon as he gets the snap collected in, he's facing a lot of pressure. And just has to dump that one down. End of the turf brings up third and long, 3rd and 10. .155 left to play in the first half.
Gonna try to go up the middle with it. Runs into his own men on the line, and then about 4 Falcons throw him to the ground.
And try and see who was the first in there. At least the first couple.
It was the defensive line.
Yeah, yeah, blocker in the mix. It looked like.
Fourth down coming up.
Be about 4th and 13.
Like Hubbard, the other who got in the mix.
They're going to punt this one away. And we'll go out of bounds.
Goes down with 49 seconds left to play. Only question will be if the Falcons want to make another push for some more points here before the break, or if they'll just take a knee on this one, everyone regroup, and come out for the second half and just kind of run out the clock. And Falcons will set up shop at their own 35, it appears, after the punt goes out of play. Well, the dance party's been breaking out over a good chunk of this first half, and I would love to see what we could get in the second half with a full team choreographed meeting at the halftime break, you know, because we're getting a lot of great individual efforts. But I think, you know, line dance maybe with the team. I think they could
as long
get
as they don't get us involved in it, we're good.
No one wants to see us get in the mix. I'm certainly not coordinated enough.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Jones over the middle, and it's incomplete, intended for Johnson.
Yeah, it almost led him a little too far and floated it.
And all his teammates on the sideline saying, you had a guy wide open on the sideline.
Yeah. It's funny. I think Lucky Moore was one saying, right over here, just drop it in the pocket. That's funny. And again, you can afford to be jovial, I guess, we'll put it that way. When you've put up a first half like this.
Again, throwing downfield. It's intercepted. Nice play by the safety to come over and take that one. And he takes a shot.
Well,
Quarterback Jones delivered a hit.
That makes up for the mistake by forcing him out of bounds, saving some points maybe, and absolutely delivering a blow on the sideline there. That was Young who came up with the interception, had a nice return. Takes the shot from Jones out of bounds and gives Oklahoma one last look here with good field position to try and find some points here in the first half.
I think the Falcons are called a timeout to make sure they have the defense on the field there.
Yeah, want to make sure you got the right personnel and don't get caught in maybe a quote-unquote quick change from offense to defense. Now you just got to be sound coming out of the timeout, because what you don't want is to take the timeout to get set and get organized, and then how many times do you see you get burned on that next play? Certainly nothing would suggest that that would be coming the way this defense has played throughout this first half, but still got to stay sound here towards the end of the half, especially leading 57-0, 31 seconds on the scoreboard here at Rockwood Summit left to play in the first half.
Cross, pump fakes, now throws it, drops it in there perfectly. It's a touchdown for the Hawks.
Oh, beautifully thrown ball just dropped in the bucket. Front corner of the end zone, drops it right over the defender, and a nice catch, sliding catch made into the end zone for the first score of the game. It looks like it may have been Young. And it was. Comes up with the pick. Then on the first play out of the timeout,
You called it.
hits him, or collects a touchdown pass. And something to hang on to going towards the halftime break.
Cross looking on this two-point conversion attempt. Running around like crazy. Now throws it. It's deflected, almost caught, and then falls incomplete.
Oh, scramble drill turned into a tip drill, and luckily for the Falcons, just falls down to the turf. Incomplete. And get the ball back. Under 30 seconds to play in this first half. And, well, there's not much you can say here for this performance that we haven't already said. Falcons have been able to take care of business here tonight. Putting up 57 in the first half. What was it, 44 at the end of the first quarter?
I don't know. I did not mark down between quarters, so we'll go with you.
Sounds
good to me.
Sounds about right.
Well, it sounds about right with your 44 guess, or that I didn't mark it down what the end of the first quarter was.
Yeah, both. Either way, it's been all Falcons. Let's put it that way. You don't need us to tell you that. Take a look at the score.
It was a 3-and-out and an 84-yard touchdown pass. Or, excuse me, a 50-yard touchdown pass. Put the Falcons up 7-0 early.
Yeah.
And
Didn't look
it's
back.
been it.
Yeah, didn't look back. And I think certainly Oklahoma will be happy to get to the halftime break. I'm sure the Falcons won't mind it. Chance to get off their feet, or again, as we've mentioned, maybe they'll stay on their feet and keep dancing. It's been a lot of the first half, especially for many on the sideline. Can't blame them. Got some good tunes, too. Just awaiting the kickoff now. One back deep for the Falcons.
Line drive kick. Will be picked up at the 18. Coming all the way to this side is Johnson. Turns the corner, blocking in front of him. And he's going to take this one all the way back. 82-yard touchdown return. You said they just needed that kickoff, and they got that kickoff.
And they're just going to wind out the clock here, it looks like, for the half. At least that's what our referee says. I'm assuming we'll get the PAT still before the break.
Kind of need that, though.
Yeah.
Unless it's an overtime winner, you still need to complete the point after.
Yeah, it just looked like no one was too intent on getting over there. So it is just about halftime. Got to do the paperwork, if you will, here.
It's a new way of saying it.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep everyone on their toes. Try something out in the off season. See if it'll work come August. Looks like they'll go for two again. Last time, tried to fade a one-on-one coverage in the corner, resulted in a pick. A nice pick at that, too. A one-handed grab.
Gonna lob it towards the other side, and that one's complete for the two-point conversion. 65-6 here at the half. As we will take a break, and we'll be back for the second half here on Prepcast.com. Second half ready to get started. James O'Sullivan alongside Tyler Rose and Jim Austin braving the heat and humidity upstairs for us this evening. It is 65-6 in favor of the Falcons, looking to go to 6-2 on the season. And we've been told by the officials it will be a 10-minute running clock here. Or now apparently we're going to said it's going to be 12-minute running clock. I don't know, 2 refs signaled up here saying it's 10.
Yeah, and
Who does Lucky think he is putting it to 12?
it's like he thinks he's the CEO or something. But that yeah, you're right there. We got that changed. 12 minutes running clock after the first half there. And I think a good call made. We saw both the front office members of each team getting together there at halftime to confirm how they wanted to go about it. I think they came up with the right call here. So the only thing here is you want to avoid injuries.
Caught there at the 19. And going down at around the 21. That's where the Hawks will begin their second half.
Well, and a lot of the main players in this one still getting the first notch here in the second half. See Crump back out there. Let's see if you don't start to see maybe a few more liberal substitutions as we move through here. And as we mentioned, it will be, 2 weeks off until the first round of the playoffs?
Yes. Well, you got the holiday next weekend.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
that might play more of a factor in it than actually doing a bye week.
And there you go. Good point. Look at you thinking.
Well,
going right
it's
over my
bound to
head.
happen once in a while.
So my first thought was, well, what holiday are you talking about? Of course, Independence Day. And now getting refs having a conversation, it looks like. Maybe missing a member of the chain gang over there. And I think that was the case. But yeah, 2 weeks, and the Falcons will be back at it in the playoffs when it all starts to count. And it should be a really fun first-round matchup. So they get a chance to avenge a loss to the Cyclones. Just a 1-point loss in the regular season.
15-14. Their 2 losses combined 7 points.
Yeah, and it's we alluded to some of the big numbers when this Falcons team does win. It's just just invert it when it comes to losing. And those 2 losses, as James mentioned, it combined 7 points. And they didn't give up too many points in either of those affairs.
Cross goes down, gets hit hard.
That was McDaniel who got down there in pursuit, made a nice play, and then shows some good sportsmanship to help cross up right away after laying down a big hit there. And, well, before we run out of time here in the second half, because it will go a little quicker, we appreciate the Falcons for having us out here a couple of times this year, bookend the season.
And another sack coming up here.
Looked like maybe Jackson Jr. Check that Dan Hubbard.
Brings up 4th and long.
Yeah, thank you to the Falcons for having us out. It's been fun. Our first go-around with the Falcons. And glad that we've gotten to see 2 winners. Selfishly, of course. Say that. And all the best of luck into the playoffs.
Low punt here towards the sideline, picked up by Singleton. He's just going to wait and then force everyone to stop. And he's going to return it all the way in. Did he step out? He did. He just stepped out around the 15.
Well, good eyes by our side judge here, because I thought maybe the same thing. It was close, and tiptoe in here near side. They're going to have him marked down at 13.
He's waited for like 3 Hawks to come at him, so then and then
Yeah.
he just busted by him.
Boy, it was funny. I think looking at the referee in the back there, after Singleton picked it up and was just kind of lackadaisical, walking the park, enjoying the nice evening. Referee was kind of like, "What's going on?" and lulled everyone to sleep and almost sprung that one, and was flirting a little too dangerously with the sideline there.
Waiting for the Canes to get set. Jones will hand this one off. Getting through the line. Getting a couple there. Ends up being Alexander.
Good tackle from behind. Saves a touchdown. Limits the gain. Ball inside the 10 now for the Falcons.
Another handoff here. Getting to the side, and he's in. Dwayne James Sr. gets in there for the touchdown.
And some nice blocking. Was able to catch the edge. He's really going to go in unabated. Extends the lead 71-6. Point after to come. And James just taking a look at the sideline here. Maybe the best part about being up by such a large margin is you get to enjoy the food trucks. As seen quite a number of people bring down their players some food here from the food truck out front.
That one is picked off. I'm going to try to return this for 2. They didn't allow him to do it the first time. This one cross runs out of gas, just goes out of bounds. Doesn't want to take an extra shot.
Don't blame him. And I think maybe that could have been part of the hesitation or confusion a bit there from Cross initially, is he was looking back an awful lot, especially for having 2 kind of right on the hip.
Because they blew it dead as soon as that happened on the first one. But this one they allowed to play, but you're certainly allowed to return those for 2 points.
I want to thank our sponsors again for their support of St. Louis Falcons football. Includes the Bronze Hall, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tim Kilo State Farm Insurance, Select Auto Rentals, Golden Nest Productions, Old World Jewelry, St. Louis Blues Warrior Hockey, and Trench Breakers LLC. Thank you for your continued support of St. Louis Falcons football throughout the year. So I tried to block James's roster up, make things difficult for him down the stretch.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
Again, got to keep everyone on their toes.
I thought that was kind of be a quiz. Can you just name these players without looking down?
Yeah. A little tougher when you only do 2 games.
Fumbled and now picked up. And they're going to return this one. It was touched by the Hawks this time.
That should be a touchdown. They're going to celebrate like it. And just
I
wait
don't
for
know.
the-
The refs are not signaling anything. I think they might call this one down.
Well, we'll see. Oh, they're gonna,
No. It looks like they will just call it a first down.
okay, well,
I guess I really don't know the rule on things like that.
well, I know it can. You get to some of the nuances from league to league, division to division. I know, especially more so high school to college, you get some of those differences where, again, you see the whistle at the 2-point conversion on a turnover as opposed to allowing that play to continue. Yeah, apologies from us for keeping everyone confused at home.
So I guess if it's not touched, you can return it like an onside kick. But if it is touched, it's a dead ball.
I don't want to toot my own horn. I thought I had it right the first time, and now I'm thrown for a loop. So,
But I think that's what you said the first time, and it ended up being that way the first time.
you know what? Let's get Mike Pereira.
Yeah. Or any rules expert.
Dean Blandino, pick one.
We just open up the CMFL rule book right here next to me.
Well, clearly our knowledge is limited, and talk to anyone we know, they would tell you no different.
I'm glad you continued that because I was going to say it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's new from any other day?
Yeah, clearly we have fun.
Jones to the air, and it's a touchdown in the back of the end zone.
Just have to wait one play.
Looks like that went to Case and Gray. Am I right with that?
I can tell you here in just 1 second you are correct. Case and Gray, nice route. Hit it in stride there. Good throw there by Jones. Had his defender beat by a couple of steps. Hauls it in stride for a touchdown. This clock continues to roll.
We have seen some good throws from Jones. He's shown off his arm strength
Yeah,
a few times.
that's a good point.
That was a more of a little, semi-long, semi-touch throw. But one of the touchdowns during the first half going the other way was definitely a long one that he put right on the money.
Yeah, and he had a couple of drops, too, on some long passes that were kind of, they were right in stride and right on the mark. And well, it looked like initially Jones was going to stay out as a wide receiver. Now comes back in.
Could have ran that one in. It's deflected. Oh, and incomplete. In and out of the hands of a couple different Falcons there.
You're right, he could have ran, and that's one of those where if you're watching film, the next day or in preparation of the next week, you're glad that it wasn't one of those plays where you absolutely needed 2 points because you're going to be thinking, okay, now I know maybe he was open in the back of the end zone, but look at all this space there. Jones certainly had it. Opted to, again, as you mentioned, throw to try and get the 2. Can afford to do that at this point as we
Quickly reach the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say all but have reached the end of the third.
And more dancing on the sideline.
Well, and I think we did get a little choreography lesson.
Yeah, we did, a little bit.
As we look over to one of the benches. Look at that. So, yeah, there was some coordination going on.
Unfortunately, Jim cannot hear us, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't hear us saying that's what it's going to be.
Oh, now it looks like we'll do 10
Well,
here in the fourth
The
quarter.
ref said 10 before the third quarter started,
Yeah.
and then it was switched to 12.
Yeah. We're equally as confused as our fellow PA and clock operators up here.
Lucky's got his back to the scoreboard,
Yeah,
so you might not see what it is
They tried to
right
sneak one by him. Referees pulled rank on him. No, and we appreciate Lucky's support.
There we go. We
in
got
getting
some
us-
of the dancing out there a little
Yeah.
bit.
We appreciate Lucky's support, too, and helping us out. He was able to get us the Oklahoma roster before we came to air today, and he's always checked in, make sure that we've had everything. And, again, thank the Falcons for having us here at PrepCast out for a couple games this year. All the
Even
kids.
got the kids joining in on the track.
Yeah, as you should. It's been a fun night, especially for the Falcons and their fans and family, certainly. And a fun way to cap off the regular season and look ahead towards the playoffs.
And this one's caught by an up man. And the big guy
Go low.
with a big return.
And a nice celebration after he gets up from the pile. I believe that was Walker who had the return, and as a former offensive lineman and current big man myself, I can tell you that is an awfully sweet feeling.
I was going to say, do you know from experience saying go low on that?
Yeah, I do. It's hard to pick up those knees. But a nice return there from Walker. Good to see the celebration after that and some fist bumps from his teammates and even a couple from the Falcons as well.
I think a couple Falcons actually jumped on his back.
Yeah,
Trying to
definitely.
take him down.
And I believe one of them may have been spanned. It looked like he got a
There's
good
a
lead.
size difference, though, there.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, it was fun.
Cross, three guys in his face, rolling out to the right, just throwing it incomplete. Got past the line of scrimmage, definitely outside the tackle box.
Well, and you mentioned it, James, that it was about a second, maybe a second and a half, and three Falcons defenders all from that front. Already putting the pressure on Cross, flushing him here near side, and all he can do is just dump it into the turf.
And by rule, definitely not intentional grounding, but I'm always like, did he throw that to avoid a sack?
You want to talk about a confusing rule that sometimes it doesn't feel like Stripes knows either. Yeah, that's one of them right there for sure.
Quick throw the outside and a diving attempt, but falls incomplete. 3rd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, throw from Cross just a little low and short there. It was going to be a heck of an effort to haul that one in. It was up 3rd and 10.
Again, Cross, not much time. Able to step up in the pocket. Oh, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Singleton.
And something we're not used to seeing is
I mean,
him
can we
dropping.
just say we're disappointed in him not catching that?
I was going to say, not used to seeing him drop almost sure interceptions like that. Still able to knock it down, and a good effort there by Cross. Had an arm still clenched on his jersey. Throws out of the sack and still avoids the danger there of the pick.
We don't say we're disappointed based on what we saw in week
Yeah.
one of about 4 or 5 picks and a couple of them outstanding. This one, oh, the guy got behind the D, but Cross overthrows him by 5 yards.
Yeah, a little lapse there from corner to safety. Singleton in the mix as he talks it out with KJ Jones to see where they need to improve. Still results in a turnover on downs. But again, can never have too much communication, especially from your safeties. And again, still talking it out as they come to the sideline. Really good to see. Especially with the score where it is, you think maybe you just, we can live with that, but no, that's good to see.
I was just going to bring it up, like, when you see a score like this, guys are like, yeah, I don't really care what's going on out there. We'll figure it out next week.
Yeah, watch the film, come back to practice. Yeah, no, you're right.
But, yeah, definitely talking it out. Coke right there as well.
Getting some push-ups in is Singleton. for dropping that.
That's
pick.
got to be the drop.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if that was self-discipline, too.
Maybe we need fingertip push-ups to strengthen those
Yeah, there you go.
strengthen those hands.
Grip strength.
Handoff here, going to go down after a gain of about 5.
Shifty little run. That was Savion Jackson.
5 minutes left. 5 minutes left in the game. Fans, make some noise.
5-minute mark of this fourth quarter.
As Jones will get to the outside. Nice block there, but a flag's going to come in. Blindside hit on that one.
Yeah, a bit unnecessary as it looked like Jones had evaded the pressure in those crackback blocks. They're trying to get out of the game. And again, another one of those judgment calls a lot of times where you can take issue with. I don't think you can there. I think that's a good call, especially in the pocket. Jones was kind of avoiding the pressure anyway. It rolled far side on the move.
You love to see the hit
Oh, yeah.
as a fan,
Oh, yeah.
but then also like understanding that is definitely a very dangerous play.
There are times I think refs are looking to throw it, and I think now there have been sometimes players have caught on to that, and they will sell that block. I don't want to call it a flop. It's not basketball or soccer. But
Tells how you really feel about those sports.
but they will try and sell the contact, especially if it just comes close in parallel with trying to tackle, especially a return man. You see that flag
And
thrown.
you definitely got to get in front of him and really have him run into you.
Yeah.
So second and extremely long after that blindside block. Jones rolling out to his left. Thought about floating it out there. Tucks it, spins through, goes down around the 41. 3:10 left in this one.
A good decision by Jones just to tuck it, run, get what he can, and still almost spun out of that first. And if he was able to do that, may have been able to run for a few more, get back to the initial line of scrimmage. Third and about 13.
Again, Jones. A lot of time to throw. Now he steps up. Throws it, and it's going to be incomplete. Fourth and long here for Jones. He's going to go right away. Has a lead blocker. He's got the first down, and he's just going to go out of bounds. Smart play there. No need to fight for yardage or anything. You know the clock's going to continue to run.
And very decisive there by Jones. Didn't hesitate at all. Had that blocker in front. You saw him as soon as he tucked to run far side. Put that hand out on his lead blocker. Say, just get going. I'll follow you. Let's get this first down. Keep it moving.
It was almost like it was designed that way because he put his hand on him right away. Normally, you really don't see a designed quarterback run to the outside like that, especially not following a running back. But quick screen here, and he's going to go all the way in for a touchdown. And the Falcons have put up more than 80 in this one.
83-6. We'll get the PAT off, presumably, as we move under a minute with the running clock, and that'll probably be the final action of this game.
By the time we actually get down here and kick it, and
Well, a fun night here at the Yard for the Falcons, to say the least. And now you get a couple weeks off to get ready for the playoffs and a chance at redemption against a team you only lost to by 1 point.
Two-point conversion attempt.
And he's going to float this one, and a nice throw. And gets it in there, 85-6. And with 10 seconds left, clock running, that will do it in this one. All Falcons from the fourth play of the game. Went up 7-0, did not look back, kept adding on. Had 40-plus at the end of the first quarter. And they cruise to the victory. They've now won 2 in a row and 6-2 during this regular season. And as we've said, Cyclones in 2 weeks on the road. They will take on the Missouri Cyclones. That is on July 12th. And one final time, we thank our sponsors of the Bronze Home, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tim Kilo, State Farm Insurance, Select Auto Rentals, Gold Nest Productions, Old World Jewelry, St. Louis Blues, Warrior Hockey, and Strength Brinkers LLC. We thank all of them for being sponsors here all season long on Falcon football. We thank the Falcons for having us out a couple times this season to do these games. Tyler, any final thoughts?
All the fun, as I mentioned a couple of times, fun night for the Falcons. Everything was clicking. You mentioned it, wasted no time, and now you can just focus up for the playoffs and a couple of chances potentially at redemption for this Falcons team. But got to take care of business with the Cyclones first in a couple of weeks, and best of luck to this Falcons team and organization as they head to the postseason after a successful 6-2 stint here in the regular season.
That's Tyler Rosen. We thank Jim Austin for running our camera upstairs. I'm James O'Sullivan signing off here as the Falcons win big here in the final game of the regular season. Enjoy your holiday week.